Welcome to Farm Buddy, uncovering opportunities in pharmacy career.
Hi guys, welcome. Today we have our first podcast, that is a pharma podcast today, and we have a very special guest, Prashant Shinde with us. Prashant
Hello.
is part of the industry for almost 17 years. प्रशांत आज इसलिए यहाँ पर है ताकि वो अपनी जर्नी हमारे साथ शेयर कर सके और लोगों को ये बता सकें कि वो लोग जो लाइफ साइंस एरिया में काम करना चाहते हैं किस तरीके से वो अपना करियर इस फील्ड में बना सकते हैं। तो इसी के साथ हम लोग शुरुआत करते हैं प्रशांत से बात करने के लिए। प्रशांत, वेलकम टू द शो। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस टुडे।
Thank you, Imran. Thank you for calling me to this show. And first of all, before we start our discussion, let me wish you and all our audience a very happy and prosperous Deepavali.
Happy Diwali to you also.
Yeah, thank you.
So Prashant, इससे पहले हम लोग स्टार्ट करें डिस्कशन। I mean, see, we will try to keep Hindi in English, so at least we are able to connect with the audience. Okay, yeah. So you be comfortable in what language you want to talk.
Sure.
Okay?
Not a problem.
इससे पहले कि हम लोग आपसे कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछें आपके करियर के बारे में, would you like to explain a bit about your journey? What have you studied? Which industry are you working? What is your overall experience?
Yeah, so my overall experience is of 25 years, out of which 17 years is of clinical programming specifically. And I started this clinical journey in 2007. I have done my graduation in BSc and then I did my MBA in information systems. Okay, since 2007 I have been associated with clinical data management, and I'm specifically my specialty is in clinical programming and project management. So I started my journey as a clinical programmer, and today I am working as a delivery manager for India's very reputed IT service provider company.
Okay, great. So I think there are many people with BSc IT, right? जो लोग किसी और जॉब में चले जाते हैं just because उनकी जॉब नहीं मिलता. I'm sure your journey explaining the role that you are playing, especially for the BSc IT people, is going to be very fascinating, right?
Yeah, definitely. Not only BSc IT, but people who have done B Pharmacy or who are into IT, who have done IT or biotech. So these are the streams who are from where the people can come in this clinical programming field, and this field is a really promising field in today's era.
In the life science industry.
In the life science industry.
Okay, nice to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm sure this discussion will help to many aspiring students.
Yeah, definitely.
So guys, जैसे Prashant has explained that he is working in the clinical domain, in the clinical programming area. तो आज के पॉडकास्ट में we will try to understand from Prashant कि किस तरीके से अगर एक फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट है वो किस तरीके से I mean what is the way he can come to the industry. What is the industry that is paying, and couple of questions that people are posting in the group, I think that we should ask to Prashant. So with these, we'll start our question to Prashant now. So Prashant, you just explained this is going to be a very fascinating role for the people in when they make their career. So could you help us to understand what is the education and experience required, or experience is not required? Somebody who is aspiring to become a clinical programmer and work in the industry.
Yeah. Specifically, if you are talking about the qualification, so one has to be a qualified graduate in maybe life sciences, IT, biotech, B Pharmacy.
Okay.
And
basically any graduate.
Any graduate. Yeah,
if there is a science graduate, it is a preferred.
Yeah.
Okay.
And second very important thing is that one should have a very good inclination towards programming and a very good logical thinking ability. Okay. So that will play a very important role, because if you are inclined towards programming, if you have that area of interest in programming, then definitely you will do wonders, right? So from that angle, I'm just saying this. And once you do this, once you come into this industry as a fresher, if you join as into this industry, then definitely you will be going through the process training. You will be trained on clinical programming as well as the standards. And once that training is done, you will be deployed on this study. That is, it's a dummy study you will be deployed on.
Dummy, you mean to say,
yeah,
like a practice
study you will be deployed on. And then you will be, once you do that, you will be deployed on a production environment.
Okay, so if somebody want to develop, somebody has the inclination to the programming, what kind of a programming will you advise to the student that they should start learning from their university?
See, clinical
Maybe in general, what kind of a programming?
In general, you should learn SQL.
SQL,
basically.
okay.
Yeah, SQL to start with. You should be very good in SQL. If you are good in Excel programming, nothing like it.
Okay.
But then clinical programming has its own platforms. Like there are various platforms in the market. Like Oracle Clinical was earlier when I started. Then today we have Viva Vault. Then we have Medidata Array. Then we have Data Packs. Then we have Central Designer. These are the clinical programming platform we have. But then we don't have that much of scope to directly get those courses done. Yeah, because they are pretty costly. So to start with, I would say that you can just be well versed, or just try to learn programming in SQL or Excel or VB script, and that will definitely.
If any graduate has a basic programming skill, then you mean to say the entry within this domain is very easy.
Yeah. The very important thing is that you should have a very good logical reasoning capacity and a strong inclination towards programming. Yeah.
I think you explained many data points. एक बहुत ही important point है जिसके बगैर ये discussion complete नहीं होगा.
Yeah.
People would like to know what is the job description of a clinical programmer. अगर आप ये audience को एक simple सरल भाषा में समझा सकें कि ऑफिस में जाने के बाद एक clinical programmer क्या करता है. I mean that would be great.
तो इमरान, इससे पहले कि मैं क्लिनिकल प्रोग्रामर क्या करता है ये आपको अगर एक्सप्लेन करूं, तो सबसे पहले मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली क्लिनिकल ट्रायल मींस. सो आई वांट टू टेक यू अ स्टेप बैक. ओके, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज क्लिनिकल ट्रायल? सो क्लिनिकल ट्रायल इज नथिंग बट testing of new drug. Testing of new drug for his or rather to assess new drug for its safety and efficacy in patient. Okay, because that new drug is going to come into the market as a medicine. Right, in future. So that testing is very important. So while doing this testing, बहुत ही ज्यादा डेटा कलेक्ट होता है. ओके, बहुत ही ज्यादा पेशेंट डेटा बहुत ही ज्यादा पेशेंट डेटा कलेक्ट होता है, और वो डेटा कहीं पर जाकर स्टोर करना बहुत जरूरी है. वी नीड टू स्टोर दैट डेटा इन अ वेरी सिस्टमैटिक वे. सो as we need to store that data, ECRF development has come into this limelight.
So you mean to say ECRF is like a data collection tool? जिस पे
आपने देखा ही होगा, हम लोग पहले जब भी डॉक्टर के पास जाते थे तो हमारा केस रिपोर्ट फॉर्म भरा जाता था. राइट, आज भी है. हॉस्पिटल जाओ तो पहले आप जाओगे तो वो केस रिपोर्ट फॉर्म जो भरा जाता है, जिसमें हमारा नाम, हमारा जेंडर, हमारा एड्रेस, फिर हमारा ब्लड प्रेशर, हमारा वाइटल ब्लड ग्रुप कौन सा है, वाइटल्स सारे चेक किए जाते हैं. तो वो पहले पेपर सीआरएफ होता था, पेपर बेस होता था. आज भी पेपर बेस है, बट उसको इंडस्ट्री जैसी ग्रो हो गई है तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी जैसी ग्रो हुई है, इसका ECRF बन गया. तो यहाँ पर क्लिनिकल प्रोग्रामर का जो है वो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है. ओके, बिकॉज ही इज एक्चुअली इन्वॉल्व्ड इन डेवलपिंग ऑफ ECRF एज अ डेटाबेस. ओके, सो ECRF मतलब क्या है? ECRF वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ ECRF, जैसे सीरियस एडवर्स इवेंट है, वाइटल्स डेटा है, फिर तुम्हारा डेमोग्राफी डेटा है, तुम्हारा इन्फॉर्म कंसेंट फॉर्म है. सो ऑल दिस
लाइक जैसे हमारा एक पेज होता है, पेज नंबर 1 2 3
लाइक अ फॉर्म नॉर्मल फॉर्म, जो केस रिपोर्ट फॉर्म जो हमारा होता था पहले, जिसको हम पर्चा बोलते थे, जिसको हम भरते थे, उसी तरीके का ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिक केस रिपोर्ट फॉर्म है. तो ये सारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक केस रिपोर्ट फॉर्म जो है वो प्रोग्रामर डेवलप करता है. ओके, फिर उसको कंबाइन करके एक ECRF बुक बनती है.
बट प्रोग्रामर को कैसा पता चलता है कि कौन कौन से फॉर्म डेवलप करना है? मतलब उसे हाउ द प्रोग्रामर अंडरस्टैंड दैट.
तो ये इसको है ना, एक्चुअली हमारी इंडस्ट्री में ये जो क्लिनिकल प्रोग्रामिंग जो है और ओवरऑल क्लिनिकल ट्रायल जो है, इसको हम स्टडी बोलते हैं. ओके, सो ये जो स्टडी होता है, ये स्टडी का हर एक स्टडी का एक प्रोटोकॉल होता है. प्रोटोकॉल मतलब रिक्वायरमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट,
किस तरीके से ट्रायल को,
किस तरीके के, मतलब क्या है ये स्टडी, क्या करने वाली है. ओके, किस तरीके का ये मॉलिक्यूल डेवलप होने वाला है, कैसे ये मॉलिक्यूल डेवलप होने वाला है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो ये अगर मुझे लेमैन लैंग्वेज में बोलना है तो प्रोटोकॉल की जगह पे मैं इसको ये बोलूंगा कि रिक्वायरमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट, कि ये स्टडी क्या करेगी।
अच्छा,
सिंपल लेमन लैंग्वेज, आपके दर्शकों को जो सिंपल लेमन लैंग्वेज समझ में आया, ऐसे इसी तरीके से मैं बोलूंगा। तो ये जो प्रोटोकॉल होता है, ये प्रोटोकॉल को देखकर ECRF बनेंगे कि ये प्रोटोकॉल में कौन से ECRF हमको डिजाइन करने पड़ेंगे, जो कि एक स्टडी में इंक्लूड हो जाएंगे।
और ECRF बनाने में व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स इन्वॉल्व?
या तो सबसे पहले तो ये ECRF का जो ये है, मतलब प्रोटोकॉल से ही ये बनेगा। प्रोटोकॉल पढ़ना पड़ेगा, प्रोटोकॉल के थ्रू हमको पता चलेगा कि कौन से ECRF बनेंगे। तो ये जब प्रोटोकॉल पढ़ने के बाद जो डेटा मैनेजर्स होते हैं वो ECRF स्पेसिफिकेशन बनाते हैं, मतलब फॉर्म पे कौन से डेटा पॉइंट्स कलेक्ट होने चाहिए, क्या डेटा कलेक्ट होना है। ओके, तो वो ECRF स्पेसिफिकेशन का एक पहला स्टेप है। सबसे पहले तो प्रोटोकॉल इंटरप्रिटेशन का है, प्रोटोकॉल पढ़ना जरूरी है, क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, क्या वो स्टडी करने वाली है। ओके, तो उसी के बेसिस पे हमारा सेकंड स्टेप है ECRF स्पेसिफिकेशन बनेगा। ECRF स्पेसिफिकेशन बनने के बाद हमारा प्रोग्रामर जो है वो ECRF स्पेसिफिकेशन को देख करके वो सारे ECRF डिजाइन करेगा। वो ECRF डिजाइन करने के बाद उसे उसमें डायनामिक चेक्स डालने पड़ेगे। डायनामिक चेक्स मतलब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल के तौर पे अगर मैं आपको देना चाहूं कि जैसे प्रेगनेंसी फॉर्म अगर डिस्प्ले करना है, तो प्रेगनेंसी फॉर्म में अगर आपका जेंडर अगर मेल है तो प्रोग्रामिंग प्रेगनेंसी फॉर्म दिखना ही नहीं चाहिए, राइट? अगर आपका जेंडर फीमेल है तो ही प्रेगनेंसी फॉर्म पॉपअप होना चाहिए। तो ये डायनामिक जो है, डायनामिकनेस जो है कि कब कौन सा फॉर्म दिखेगा, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले लिंकेज, क्योंकि मैंने आपको पहले भी बोला कि ये पूरा एक फॉर्म का एक बुक बनेगा। इंडिविजुअल फॉर्म्स को पूरी तरीके से हम कंबाइन करेंगे और उसका एक बुक बनेगा। तो उसी में वो कैसे पॉपअप होंगे फॉर्म्स, कैसे आएंगे फॉर्म्स, इसके लिए डायनामिक चेक्स लिखेंगे। फिर डायनामिक चेक्स लिखने के बाद उसका हम लोग टेस्टिंग करेंगे। पूरा टेस्टिंग होगा कि ये फॉर्म सब बराबर है कि नहीं, बराबर पॉपअप हो रहे कि नहीं। ओके, वो होने के बाद हमको उस पे एडिट चेक्स लिखने पड़ेंगे, मतलब रूल की प्रोग्रामिंग।
एडिट चेक मतलब रूल प्रोग्रामिंग।
या अभी ये रूल प्रोग्रामिंग क्यों करने हैं? हाँ, ये रूल प्रोग्रामिंग इसलिए लगाना है क्योंकि देखो जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपका अगर हेमोग्लोबिन का एक रेंज है, ओके, समझो मान के चलो हेमोग्लोबिन का रेंज है, इट शुड नॉट बी बिटवीन 1 to 10। तो ये एडिट चेक ये प्ले करेगा कि अगर किसी ने 11 डाल दी तो वो मैसेज थ्रो करेगा कि इट इज इन नॉट दैट रेंज 1 to 10। तो इससे ये होता है कि पीपल विल नॉट डू द रॉन्ग एंट्री, wrong data entry into the ECRF form, because end of the day we have to collect a very authentic data.
So मतलब ये mistake proofing का तरीका है। Edit checking is like a mistake proofing when people are entering the data into CRF.
Yes.
कुछ गड़बड़ ना हो जाए इसके लिए whatever you can do a mistake proofing you are doing through edit checks.
So
ठीक है, उसके बाद क्या होता है?
Edit checks will play a very important role. So once these edit checks are programmed, okay, then we have to do the testing of those.
ठीक है,
yeah, whether it has been programmed correctly or not, because if they are not programmed correctly, then again there is a high chance of wrong data getting entered into the system, right? So to avoid that, you have to test those checks. Once the testing is done, okay, then a final user acceptance testing is also done, okay, wherein the things are in place and now the study is actually okay, or it's a foolproof study to go live into the production. Okay. So once that is done, then that entire study gets deployed to the site where that data is going to get collected. जहाँ पे data collect होने वाला है वहाँ पे वो deploy होगा और वहाँ पे data collection चालू हो जाएगा.
So once studies go live, the task for the programmer is completed or still they have a role?
No.
When the study is there in the conduct?
Yeah, see, programmer will always be there right from setup.
I mean, throughout the study.
Throughout the study cycle, his role is very important. And he will always be there from setup till closeout, because see, once the study is deployed, फिर वहां पर भी high chances होता है कि कुछ amendments आए, या फिर कुछ erroneous program भी हुआ है जो testing में catch नहीं कर पाया है, तो वो भी as a requirement आ सकता है. So once that comes as a requirement, we called it as PPC, that is post production changes. Okay, so once that comes, so again programmers are involved in programming those, and they have to do the impact analysis, they have to do the risk assessment of those. So here the programmer is also playing a very important role, right? Because then again that entire thing, whatever comes as a requirement, whether it is amendment or whether it is an error. So that programmer will have to reprogram, and then again they have to test and they have to deploy into the production. बट यहाँ पर एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज क्या है मालूम है क्या? जैसे प्रोग्रामर का रोल क्यों इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है? बिकॉज देखो ये स्टडी आपकी लाइव है और पीपीसी पे भी काम करना है, राइट? तो यहाँ पर प्रोग्रामर का रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आपका ऑलरेडी डेटा कैप्चरिंग चल रहा है, लेकिन आपको कुछ हद तक कुछ आपको
डेटाबेस को स्टॉप नहीं
करना है, बट कुछ कुछ जो डेटा पॉइंट्स है उसको आपको करेक्शन करके how technically or rather how smartly you will get you will deploy those into the production, so that that corrected forms or that whatever is the requirement, that will also get deployed, and there also the data will get corrected, data will get updated. So this is how it is very important. The clinical programmer's role is really very important in the life cycle of clinical study.
Explaining all the questions so far, एक कंफ्यूजन मैंने देखा है among the students, especially people ask me, what is the difference between clinical programmer and statistical programmer? So try to explain, is this the same thing? These are two different things? Please help to understand.
Yeah, see, as I explained you about clinical programmer, right, in our earlier question. So clinical programmers are basically involved in creating, developing the ECRF and database, which are bit further gets deployed to the
for
site
data collections,
and the data is collected over there. Whereas statistical programmers, they use this data, by creating tables, listings, and graphs, which are further used by the statisticians and clinicians for to see the outcome of the study. And further it has been referred by the medical writers for clinical study report.
So can we also say that clinical programming are mostly involved before the trial starts, to some extent in between, but mostly when the data is collected, the data is used by the statistical programming for the analysis? This is the right understanding?
Yes.
Okay, so guys, try to understand, clinical programming and statistical programming are two different things. Both has a different job, and both jobs are very they're very very demand in the market. एक चीज और बता दो प्रशांत, अगर कोई क्लिनिकल प्रोग्रामिंग में काम कर रहा है किसी इंडस्ट्री में और किसी प्रोजेक्ट्स में, ये पॉसिबल है कि वो स्टैटिस्टिकल प्रोग्रामर बन सकता है? इज दिस पॉसिबल? द एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम इज पॉसिबल?
या क्यों नहीं? See, basically both this field requires a strong inclination and a
programming
and a good programming skill. So definitely अगर कोई क्लिनिकल प्रोग्रामिंग कर रहा है और उसे अगर मूव होना है और वाइस वर्सा, so definitely depending upon their interest over that programming, they can move.
And even the pay scale and demand in the market for the statistical programming is as good as the clinical programmer?
I think it is more for statistical programmer compared to
you mean to say there is a more scope for the statistical programmer? Prashant, for explaining that at least a fresher can make a good entry into this industry. I'm sure most of the fresher may be interested to know what is the pay scale for the fresher. I mean, what industry is paying for the fresher? And because you have almost spent like 25 years, also help me to understand, if somebody who is working as a clinical programmer and is a 5 year into industry, I mean, what is the industry paying to them?
First of all, according to me, freshers should not be so much worry about the pay scale in the beginning of their career. However, industry will definitely pay them in between 3 to 5 lakh per annum. And if you are talking about the experienced programmer with 5+ years experience, industry really pays them good, in the range of 10 to 15 lakh, and this keeps on growing as their experience grow in the industry. So I have a couple of my friends who are currently working in this industry as a clinical programmer, and who are really drawing very good salary in between 20 to 25 lakh.
With how many years of experience?
So they have got a very good experience of 10, some people have 10 years of experience, few of my friends are having 15 years of experience, and they have choose to be as a clinical programmer only in this industry, because clinical programming is in really high demand. So they are into this industry, they have now mastered the platforms which they are working on,
Mhm.
and industry is really paying them very good salary.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So thanks, Prashant. I think Prashant is able to explain us all the question that I put for him. और मुझे लगता है कि इन्होंने जो डिस्कशन किया है ये काफी प्रोफेशनल्स को हेल्प करेगा उनके करियर के अंदर. But before Prashant, we wind up this conversation. Any final advice you would like to give for the freshers as well as for the professionals who are working in this field?
Yeah, yeah, sure, Imran. So I'll give 5 tips to the freshers. Yeah,
Mhm.
first of all, they have to concentrate on their graduation. Okay, then they should learn about the good clinical practice.
Okay.
Okay, that is GCP. Then they should learn about the clinical trials. Okay, they should learn about clinical data management. They should also learn about some programming language like SQL or
SQL, C
Excel.
plus, and
Yeah,
those
yeah.
things. Mhm.
And fifth, very important is that they should learn a good communication skill. They should
Okay.
have a very good communication skill. So
Okay.
these are the 5 tips for freshers.
Mhm.
Okay. And one good thing I would like to tell is that people who are already into this industry working as a clinical data manager.
Okay.
Okay. So those clinical data managers are they have in and out knowledge about data management.
That's right.
Yeah, they are doing data management, discrepancy management. So clinical data manager, if they have a good inclination towards programming, so this can be a
Wow.
deadly combination.
Mhm.
Like if they learn programming, they will do really wonders. Because
Wow.
I have some examples, some friends of mine who were started clinical data manager, and after that they showed
Shift.
interest
Okay.
towards learning programming. They learned programming, and today they are earning somewhere in between 20 to 25 lakh with
Wow.
just 7 to 8 years of experience. So this combination really goes well, because a clinical data manager, if he or she does clinical programming and get into this clinical programming field or statistical programming field, they can really do wonders.
Wow. Great.
So that's the tip I wanted to give to all.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So guys, let us end our conversation here. I think it's been pleasure that Prashant was with us today, and with all his experience, he has tried to explain how a freshers can make an excellent career into life science industry, especially working into the clinical programming area. I hope आप सबको ये conversation बहुत पसंद आया हो. If you have any question with respect to life science industry, clinical programming, you are stuck in your career, comments के अंदर definitely आप you can put your question in the comments, and we will try our best to respond back to you. Before we meet, thanks a lot for watching us. Stay tuned to Farm Buddy for the next video.
Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new today. You have query on career? Talk to Farm Buddy now.